Hi guys. So I'm gonna do some more coasters. I'm gonna do a whole batch. In my pressure pot. So here's the coaster. I bought a whole bunch of molds, as you can see. So I could do a whole bunch of coasters at the same time. And with using the pressure pot, I don't have to use any heat because it eliminates all the bubbles, which is super awesome. So I'm going to do a video soon just on using the pressure pot. There are a few YouTubers like Zach Higgins who has some great videos on pressure pots and stuff, so I'll be linking those in the description for you if you wanted to check some of those out. But I'll also do some intro videos and what I've been learning. So what I've been doing is I've been creating a series of coasters for Zodiac coasters. So here's one of them. And if I run my finger around, there's absolutely no bubbles along the edge, which is awesome. Because when you use black and you mix the resin tint in there, it's really hard to see if there's any bubbles. So this is why I chose to go the direction of the pressure pot. And it also doesn't wreck any molds, as I've already wrecked quite a few. But you know, you try things out, you learn, and that's just how it goes. So I have a few of these done up. I haven't put the layer on top yet for my Zodiac coasters, but I did add some sparkle to kind of simulate some stars. If you can see the sparkle. And then I used my Cricut to cut the stars out, but you could also paint the stars. And then I just painted with some white ink the lines because they were too thin to cut with the Cricut. They kept popping off. And then I just added the text with the vinyl as well. So I'm just gonna show you guys a sped up version of how I created those, a whole batch. So I'm going to first, so this is one of my favorite glitters. It's from Michaels, called Recollections, and it's extremely hard to read the text because it's like white on here, but it's extra fine glitter. I'm just trying to read. It's called Bling glitter, but it's basically just got like all different kinds of colors. Some of the glitters are color specific, but I like this one because it's just like a multitude of colors. Reminds me of the stars. You can see it's kind of holographic there. This little jar will go a long way. I've been using it for a couple years now, and I haven't even really made a dent. I've maybe used up that much. So if you get one of these, you'll use it for a long time. I'm going to actually put down a little bit of parchment paper because I'm using glitter. So the reason I'm putting down parchment paper is because glitter just sticks to everything and everywhere. But parchment paper, at least it doesn't really stick to it, so I can put it back into my jar after. So it actually kind of falls right off the parchment paper. So that's why I'm going to put parchment paper down. I'm still working on my Lowly Beefy matte, silicone matte, which has been great for resin, because when the resin drips or something, you just leave it dry and it just plucks right off, super easy. So there'll be links in the description for any of the materials here, and I greatly appreciate you guys using my Amazon links. I make a small commission and they help me, and they're no extra cost to you, so thank you guys. Alright, so for the glitter, I just kind of put a little bit on my finger And I just drop a little bit inside the mold before I even put any resin in. So super easy, although because I'm doing a ton of these because I'm going to do a whole batch in the pressure pot. And I've discovered that less is kind of better with these. Some of them I kind of put a lot of glitter. But I did discover that the ones with not as much glitter kind of look better, so just an FYI. You can just add a little bit in there. So you just pick up just a slight amount. Sometimes a little bit extra falls on. There's not much you can do about it, but you know. Add as much or as little glitter as you guys like. And you can use different colored glitter. I mean, you don't have to use this one. You could pick the color you like. I just like this one because it reminds me kind of stars. So, and it's super sparkly and it works really good. So in my pressure pot I can get 3 sets of 4, although I did wreck one of my molds, so I kind of don't have 3 sets of 4. I have like 2 sets of 4 and 3 coasters. So alright, that looks pretty good. Those are all sparkled. So yeah, I just add the glitter, and this way I know the glitter will be at the top of the coaster. It does get, it's not like it's sitting on top, but you can end up seeing the glitter at the end. So just a little trick, if you want to do glittery coasters, you can just put the glitter inside your molds before and it'll sit at the top. Especially when you're using a colored resin. Alright, I'm going to mix up some resin and then I'll come back. Alright guys, I have mixed up my resin. I also went and got my shelving, which is going to be hard to see, yeah, because I zoomed in quite a bit. But I created a shelving unit for my pressure pot, and that's what I'm going to put all the coasters on. So I'm just going to have that, I'm going to put it on this side kind of close so that I can move the coasters into it as soon as I finish pouring them. So I need to mix the black in, which, as you guys might have seen in my last video, I totally destroyed the lid for the black. Or it just wrecked on its own, not too sure. But I just used some tape to create a new lid, which makes it very sticky. So I'm going to make, I found that 10 ounces of resin is good for 4 molds, like this one in particular. So I really want it to be super black. So I just put in a bunch of ink and then mix it in really good. So you got to, even when you look on the side, you'll see the ink isn't getting all the way to the bottom. You got to push it down and mix it in there really good. So it's nice and consistent throughout. And important to really make sure you scrape the sides, get everything off the edges, and make sure you scrape the bottom really good when you're mixing resin. I'm almost out of this resin. I've been looking online for some different resins. There are different heat resistant resins out there. The one I'm using today is the Stone Coat Countertops. A lot of people have suggested KS resins as well, which they look amazing, but unfortunately they don't ship to Canada, so that's too bad. I did find we have a local resin here in Alberta, so I'm gonna try and see about using them. They say they have a heat resistance to like 50 degrees Celsius, so resin. Whereas some of these resins aren't quite as high a resistance, so I'm curious to try that one out. So I think I'm gonna get some of that and test it out. They're called Black Forest Wood Company, so they're here in Canada. So I'll be trying out some different resins as I do some more resin casting and stuff, and I'll let you guys know. But I love that you guys have different resins that you stick to that are great. Like I think art resin, they say they're only good to like, I think it's like 40 degrees Celsius, which I'm not sure in Fahrenheit, guys, sorry, but they have it all on websites and stuff, and so some of them are heat resistance only to so much. The art resin do say that if you were to put a hot mug on your coaster, it should be fine. So, but I wanted to get into hot plates, so that's why I was looking for some resins that really can handle a lot of heat. Alright, so we got the black mixed up. Looking really good. And I'm not even worried about bubbles, but if you are, you can tap your little cup here on the table to help get the bubbles to the top, or just kind of hit the sides and it'll help kind of the bubbles get to the top, so you don't have to worry too much. I find when you mix the ink in, it helps kind of get rid of a lot of the bubbles for some reason, so when you're mixing into the resin, whereas when you're just mixing resin it creates a lot of bubbles. We could kind of see them all popping there at the surface. So you can just tap a little bit, let it sit for a few minutes, like not too long, but like a minute or two, and just let those bubbles release and get to the top. And then, because we already have the sparkles in, I just pour the resin in. Make sure to not overfill. And voila! And that is one done. Then I'm just going to pick it up and move it to my shelf. Alright. Then the next one, and if you get too many sparkles that you put inside, just flip your mold over and tap them back out and you'll have way less sparkles. So just a handy tip in case something happens where you put way too much. So just fill this second one. Beauty. Now I have a drop of resin right there. I'm not even going to worry about it. Just let it dry. I might wipe it off because I am going to do more videos. But you could just let it dry if you were letting things dry on your mat, and it'd be good to go. Then I'm just going to pick it up and put it on my shelf. And basically I'm just going to keep going and filling them. And because the 10 ounces only does 4, I just remix another 10 ounces, so I kind of have consistent amounts of resin for each one of my coasters. So, and if you guys are interested, see, like this one I kind of got a bit, I can get a few of those out. If you're interested in any of these, I'm gonna post these on my website for you guys to purchase if you wanted a Zodiac, CraftyJenn Zodiac coaster. So you can check out, there's a whole bunch of stuff on there for acrylic pouring and some of my original paintings and stuff and artwork. And I'll have a link in the description for that. So here you can see 10 ounces. Worked out pretty good. Perfect. So there it is, 10 ounces did 4 coasters. I'm going to keep going and filling these, and then when you come back I have a few that are ready and I'm going to show you how I just paint the lines in. Okay guys, I just wanted to show you my pressure pot, and this is where I'm putting my shelving inside with all the coasters on it, as you can see. It's super simple, it's just going to contain them. I made sure that the shelves were level, and then I also have to level the pressure pot. You can mount these permanently, I just haven't yet, but it works to do this as well. So if you are interested in pressure pots, I'm going to do a video of just the pressure pot, but I thought I would show you guys quickly how I'm putting in the shelves inside, and then I lock the lid down. And I like this pressure pot because it has the big wing nuts, so it's easier to lock the lid down. And then all you have to do is get a compressor and apply air, and it's going to build up pressure inside, so that's going to take all the little bubbles and turn them into microscopic, invisible bubbles, basically. So you won't be able to see any of the bubbles, none of them appear, and it just gets rid of them. Especially with this black resin, because I mixed in the ink, it's really hard to see any of the bubbles that are in there. If you get a bubble that dries against the edge, it can create a sharp lip or cavity in the edge of the mold. And this way I don't have to torch as well, so I don't ruin the molds. I don't have to use mold release. Everything comes out really clean, and it just works really good. Now, pressure pots are an investment. There are cheaper pressure pots. This one is a more expensive pressure pot. It was an investment for me, and because I want to do a lot more resin casting, I decided to invest in it. So they are definitely not always for the hobbyist, or if you don't think you're going to do much, you might not want to invest in a pressure pot. But if you do want to invest in a pressure pot because you're going to be doing more resin casting, then I'll have some videos where I'll show a lot more detail and go through how I do everything with my pressure pot now. So, and you can see my little photography logo sticker on there. So you can also see I put the level on the top of the pressure pot. It's not the most pretty setup. For leveling, I use some cardboard and stuff like that. And anyways, so I just thought I'd show you guys a quick, fast video of me putting the coasters into the pressure pot and getting it all tightened down and under pressure. Alright, so here is a finished one, but I have to put a thin layer of the epoxy on top, and here is one that I have to draw the lines in. So like I said, I use the Cricut, and you could paint these stars yourself, or you could use a Cricut. That's what I used for all of these. Just cut them out, and I am using, to make the lines, it's just Speedball super pigmented acrylic, so it's like an ink. Well, it is an ink. White. So that's what I'm using just to do the lines, and then a really thin, you can see that there, very thin paintbrush. Alright, so I'm going to open it. It's kind of messy. Oop. Okay, needs paper towel. So all you gotta do is just dip your paintbrush in. You don't want too much on the ends. And then all I do, reference the photo to make sure I get the lines going to the right stars, is I just very lightly draw a line. Like so. Then you can just pick up more ink and just keep going with the lines. So sometimes when it's a long line, I'll take it and I'll come back with it. Usually I'm on a smooth surface, but and just like that. So I'm going to keep going and finish all the lines, and then you can see the finished Zodiac horoscope coasters. And there it is. So I gotta let that dry, and then I just put a thin layer of gloss over of epoxy over the top to seal it all in so it doesn't get wrecked if you were to put a mug on it. And that is the Zodiac coaster. So guys, I just wanted to say a huge thank you to everybody for subscribing to my channel, watching my videos, liking, commenting. I greatly appreciate it. And thank you so much for using my Amazon links. I get a small commission from them and there's no extra cost to you, and it helps me out greatly. So thank you guys. Also check out my CraftyJenn art store. I will be selling my coasters on there, and also if you want these vinyl stars combinations for the Zodiacs, they will also be on there too, so you can embellish your own coasters. I hope you guys have a blast creating, and thank you so much.